Hi, my name's Joseph. Welcome to the Eclectic Philatelist, episode 17, Postcrossing. Many of you have heard of postcrossing or heard me mention it on previous videos, and recently I had a request from a viewer that asked me to do a little video on postcrossing just to show their website and to talk a little bit about how it works and how to use it, and to show some of the postcards that I've received from that. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a little bit of a look at the postcrossing.com website, and we're going to take a little look at some of the postcards I've received from around the world. For example, this great one, I love this one recently, a lot of different fish, things like that. I thought that was pretty cool. This one came from someone else in the United States, and you can tell they put some stickers and besides the stamps that they use to mail the postcard. Kind of neat. And later on, after we look at the postcrossing.com website, we'll take a look at some of the cards that I have received from around the world and how I choose cards to mail out when I send cards out. So stay tuned, postcrossing.com today. Let's take a look at postcrossing.com. I've entered the address, which is just postcrossing.com, in a web browser, and it comes up to the main page. Pretty nice main page, gives you a lot of information right off the bat. For example, here at the top in the left, it says, "What is postcrossing?" And let's click Learn More and see what they say. About postcrossing. What is postcrossing? Well, the goal of the project is to allow anyone to send and receive postcards from all over the world. The idea is simple. For each postcard you send, you will receive one back from a random postcrosser from somewhere in the world. Why? Because it's a lot of fun. And here they've got a little graphic just showing that you write a postcard, and I'll show you the process of how you get an address here in a minute. You would mail it, you kind of wait. You get a postcard from someone randomly chosen from around the world, and you register their postcard, and then you repeat the process. You send postcards out, and you receive postcards back. It's pretty neat. When you write the postcard, you can request an address to send. You'll get a random member from somewhere in the world and an ID number. And we'll talk more about that ID number in a minute. That helps you identify, or the recipient identify, the card as it travels around the world. You write a little message, pick out a nice postcard that you want to send, and mail it off. It's kind of a neat process. Here also in this About Postcrossing page, it does show a history of postcrossing and how it all started. You can look at that if you want and read that in detail. It's kind of interesting. Also shows you who operates postcrossing, the team, and has some testimonials from various people who've been on postcrossing for a long time. Now, it may surprise people, but postcrossing has been around for over 17 years. I think that's pretty amazing. Now, let's say that you're not a member of Postcrossing and you want to try it. How do you sign up? It's all free. In this top menu here, there's a sign up button. You click sign up, and there's a little form that you fill out. It's pretty easy. You need a username, email, password, pretty typical, your address. This is an important little square to fill in. You want to put in your postal address, including your name, the complete address, and it even gives you guidelines for the United States here, because I'm in the US, of how to format my address. So if someone from another country wants to send me a card, they'll get the formatting of the address correct for our post office. And down here, there's a little checkbox. If you agree to Postcrossing terms of service and privacy policy, you can read those by clicking on the links. And then you click sign up, and you're a member of Postcrossing. Pretty easy. Once you are a member of Postcrossing, when you come to the site and you want to send out new cards or register a card you've received, you just log in. I'm going to click log in and log into my account. I click log in. I'm on a Mac, so I've got fingerprint ID, so I'm just going to log in with my fingerprint here. Now on this page it shows me a few things. It shows little profile picture, this black and white cat. That's what I picked for my profile photo. It's also shown in the upper right corner. And in the upper right corner is where you've got the sign out link when you're done. And the settings button will show a little bit later about how to change any settings you want on the site. It shows me right now that I've got traveling, or what postcards are still in transit around the world that I've sent out, 2 out of 10 possible. I can send up to 10 postcards at one time right now. If I send all 10 out, I've got to wait till they actually start arriving at the destination before I can send out more. I've got 2 right now that are traveling, so they're in transit. So today I could send out 8 more postcards. The ones that are traveling are going here, and it shows you the countries and where these postcards are going. And here are examples of what I mean by postcard IDs. So if I ever wanted to track this postcard, and the IDs are also used when you receive a postcard and how to register it. And I'll show that in a minute. And then it's got some more information down here about recent postcards and things like that. Now, let's say that you registered, you've got your account set up. And to send a postcard here on this main page, you can just click Send a Postcard. It'll have a couple of notes here for you to read. Something about a postcard ID must be written on the postcard so the recipient can register it correctly. And a copy of the address you should mail the postcard to will be sent to your email account. You should also read the community guidelines. That's kind of helpful before exchanging postcards. If you've read those notes, you can just click the checkbox and then you can request an address. Now, when you do request an address, I'm not going to show that screen, so I don't want to show someone's address here, but you will get a page that shows the address and the postcard ID that you need to mail out, and it gives you their profile also, so you can read the profile and see what types of things they like. So that's all very helpful, and then you can go ahead and prepare your postcard, find something that of a topic that they may be of interest in, and you can mail that out. So again, once you're ready to request an address, just click Request Address, and you'll get all the info you need to send a postcard out to a recipient. I'll come into the site, I'll click Register a Postcard, and here's where I would put in the postcard country code and the numerical code that the person wrote on the card when they mailed it to me. That will allow me to register the postcard and identify it to the system. I can also write a little message in this space. I like to do that. Usually I'll say something like, "Thank you very much for the beautiful card. I really like it." Something like that, just so they know. And then you click Register the Postcard, and your postcard is registered, or the person who sent it to you, their card is registered. And then they can send out a new card to someone else around the world. So sending and receiving cards is pretty easy. Click Send a Card if you want to get an address to mail a card to someone around the world. When you receive a card, you click Register a Postcard. All there is to it. The main menu can guide you through a lot of information about the site. You can also choose sending or registering a postcard from the menu. You can see how many of your postcards are traveling, how many you've sent, how many you received. The wall is like photos of postcards you've received, and your statistics, things like how long you've been a member, how many cards you've sent, how many you've received. If you want to explore, you can look at things here on the site. For example, you could look at countries. And this is a list of countries and territories that are members of Postcrossing. Huge. And you can scroll through here and just see that all over the place, there's Croatia here, for example, has members. The Czech Republic has, members of Postcrossing, all these countries, so it's kind of neat. You can also see how many postcards were sent from that country and what that country's estimated population is currently. So that's kind of neat as well. And there's other things to explore here. You can see things like a gallery of different postcards, pictures, and things like that. One interesting thing on the site is their blog. If you click blog, it's just like any other blog. It's got different information about the postal world itself and postcrossing and its community. Here there's a book review. There's also, here's an idea for November writing prompt. If you don't know what to write on a card you're about to send to someone, sometimes there's ideas here for every month. So that's kind of a neat thing. Here they're talking about grocery list and maybe a little recipe or something you like. So that's kind of neat. So sometimes the blog can be a good place to go to for ideas if you're not sure what to write on a card. There is a Postcrossing forum. You can click forum and come in here and you can introduce yourself on the forum. You can read or post about postcrossing itself, any suggestions or general topics. You can talk about stamps or stationery or mail. You can talk about language or certain countries. You can also check and see if there's any meetups or groups that want to meet up in person who are members of Postcrossing and just want to get together and talk about postcards and postcrossing and things like that. So the forums are kind of a fun area to explore as well. And of course there's help. If you ever don't know how to do something on the Postcrossing site, you can come in here and look at an FAQ, or you can contact Postcrossing if you can't find an answer, and you can find out your answer to whatever question you might have. Also in here, they change some notes every once in a while. There are some ads on this site a little bit, which is how they finance the site because it's free for us to use. Sometimes they'll have little messages, and they'll also down here show pictures of recent postcards that have been sent. Now, Postcrossing is free, but if you really like doing it and want to help them support the site, you can make a voluntary contribution down here under Support Postcrossing if you would like. But again, completely optional. You can do Postcrossing for free on the site. The About menu over here talks about the community guidelines, talks about how you can support the project, how to use their logo, if you want to put Postcrossing logo on a website or something like that. It also talks a little bit about their history. Again, we saw this site from the About Postcrossing page, so lots of information there. If you ever wanted to change your settings for Postcrossing, there is a link up here next to your profile picture once you're a member, and you can click that and go into settings. And in settings, you can change your password, your email address, what kind of notifications you want to receive. You can create your profile here. So you can put in that profile that I showed you when we request an address. So somebody who gets my name randomly and are about to send me a postcard, they can read this and know what kind of things I like, so they might send me a postcard that's related to that. The preferences down here at the bottom is kind of an important area. That's where you've got some options if you want to have several postcards traveling to the same country at the same time or not. Excuse me. Right now I've got it unchecked, so I want my postcards going to different countries. So when I request addresses, I won't get the same country if I'm checking if I've got cards traveling currently to that country. You could also check this if you want to send and receive postcards from your own country. So if I'm in the United States, if I want to also send and receive postcards to the United States, I could check that box. And if you want to receive requests for direct swaps from other postcrossers, you can check that box. Sometimes postcrossers will see a card that you've posted up on the statistics page or on the wall. They call it a wall, where it shows photos of postcards. Or someone may have received a postcard from you and really liked it. or vice versa, and you want to contact that person and just exchange postcards directly, because all the other send and receive features in Postcrossing is random. So if you want to do it specifically to another postcrosser, you could do that. So anytime you want, you can come in here and change your profile, and then you can click Save Changes if you want to do that. Also in here is where you could put in your exact address, and you could pick an avatar or your little profile picture. This is just my cat, Otis. Pretty nice little cat there, so I picked him for my picture instead of having a picture of myself. I'll go back to the home page here. So postcrossing.com is the website you go to sign up. Pretty easy to sign up and pretty easy to use. If you do have questions, you can always go to the forums or go to the help button here and find out more information about how to use Postcrossing. Next, I'm going to stop the screen sharing here of the Postcrossing site, and we'll take a look at a few of the postcards that I've received from around the world, and I'll show you the postcards and some of the stamps and things that I have ready when I send postcards out to other people around the world. So that's a little look at the postcrossing.com website. If you do sign up for Postcrossing for the first time, please let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to find out if you did. If you are a current postcrosser, also kind of let me know if you could in the comments for the video. Now, some of the postcards that I've received lately, I want to show a few of these here. This is kind of a collage of a landscape of different scenes here. And this card came from Turkey, of all places, which is kind of neat. And there's some gorgeous stamps from Turkey that are on this card as well. So if you're a stamp collector, sometimes Postcrossing is a really good source of different stamps. And someone wrote a little message over here, and that postcard ID that I mentioned during the video, they did write in here with the country code and the number. So when I received this card, I was able to easily go ahead and register that I received this card on the postcrossing.com site. Sometimes you'll get unusual cards. One person knew that I did a little video on the Eclectic Philatelist about playing cards on stamps. So they sent me a card here that has to do with playing cards in kind of this very unusual photo here, which was kind of neat. And on the back, they talk about it a little bit here, and this card came from Russia, actually. So there's some stamps from Russia here, and again, there's the ID that they wrote up here on the side with the code. Some people write it on the side, things like that. And they talk a little bit about this illustration was one of their favorite books. This illustration is actually from a mystery novel that shows these cool characters and the playing cards here. It's kind of interesting. I really like this card. I thought it was pretty unusual. I mentioned in my profile on Postcrossing that I like bicycles. So I received this card from Belgium, from Brussels, of somebody that also likes bicycles. And my profile mentioned I'm a retired technical writer, and this person wrote to me that said they were also a documentation person for a system engineering team in their country. And on the back, it's kind of interesting. They did include a nice stamp here, and they have some little stickers they put on the card and things like that. So that's kind of nice also. It's kind of neat. Now, one thing that's different on this card, and you might have this happen a few times with Postcrossing, you notice on this postcard there is no address. Well, what this person chose to do, and it was up to the user when you send one, but they actually wrote this card out, put a stamp on it, put the ID number on it, wrote me a message, and then they put this card inside another envelope and addressed that envelope and stamped that envelope and mailed it to me that way. And they said they wanted to do that just so this postcard arrives in pristine condition. Most of the cards, or all of the cards I send out, I just send the postcard. I don't put things in an envelope. but on occasion I have received a card inside an envelope. Here's another one of my favorite cards. I've got a whole stack of cards. I mentioned in my profile on Postcrossing I like cats. I have two. So I received this card, and this came from New Zealand, and I think this is great. It shows a cat on a stamp, which is kind of neat because I also collect, as a topical collection, cats on stamps. So in here again, numerous stamps that are on here and a little message and the postcard ID so I can register the card on the Postcrossing site. And I thought this was a great card to receive. It's one of the reasons I like Postcrossing, because you can receive such a wide variety of cards. Here's another cat-themed card. Whoops, upside down here. This is a upside-down cat laying on the floor, kind of making a mess. And this card came from the United States. It was another person here from a different state, from Illinois. And this came last Christmas time, last year. And so there's a number of stamps and some stickers that they put on here as well. Kind of cute. I like that one. One of my other favorite ones, and again, a lot of mine are cat themed. This was another card that came from Russia, and I really like this one. This is one of my favorite ones. And I like the back of the card too, because I thought the stamps and the postmark and the stickers and even the little tape that they've used on the side and some of the stickers they've placed on the card is just gorgeous. And the stamps they put on here from Russia are just beautiful. And with the postmark, it really enhances the quality of this card. So one of the other joys of Postcrossing is to get neat stamps and postmarks, and the card itself, of course, the picture on the front of the card can be gorgeous. On a bicycle-related theme, I got a card from Finland, and I like this one. It's very different. I hadn't seen one with a picture that was very much like this before, and a real nice message about this person and how they like to ride bikes also as well, and things like that. And then they have their really neat stamps from Finland up here, and kind of a neat little message that they wrote to me here. Kind of a bicycle themed card, which I thought was pretty cool. You can get all kinds of cards from everywhere, and you never know what kind of subjects you're going to receive. This is a couple of buffalo. Kind of interesting because this card came from Germany, which was kind of neat. So that was kind of an unusual card. I didn't expect to see that, and I think it was great. There was a lot of writing on the back of the card about this person likes animals, and he likes to send out animal-related cards, which is kind of cool. A lot of other cards are very interesting. This is one that had a little bit of education for me. It helped me discover something new. This is showing an island here, and the name up here of this island is Borkum, B-O-R-K-U-M, and it's in Germany, and I didn't know there was such a place at all. And the card describes on the back a little bit about the island, and he's got, of course, the stamps from Germany here. And he talks about the island, and this is where he vacations a lot. And I had to look this up, and so I did some web searches about this island and learned a little bit more about it, and that's fascinating. So another joy of Postcrossing is to learn something about new places around the world. Another bicycle theme-related card that I received, and this one came from France. Kind of neat. And I like this one because it's kind of an unusual stamp. That was pretty neat. I like that one. And they put a little ladybug sticker on there too, which is kind of cool. So that was kind of interesting here. I like that stamp a lot. And it's also embossed. I don't know if you can see it here in the end, but it is kind of neat. So kind of great. Now, every year there is such a thing as World Postcard Day, where people send out postcards on World Postcard Day. And there's different designs that people choose to send out. I received this one on World Postcard Day for 2022, which was kind of a neat sign, a dove hugging the world. Certainly could use that one here. And this was kind of neat, and this card came from Luxembourg. And so the message and the stamps and the postcard ID, of course, on the back of the card. So lots of variety that I've gotten over the years. And of course, there are many more. I'm not going to show all of these. I've got a lot more than this. This is just a partial stack of cards that I've received that I haven't organized yet. I like to organize these cards by subject matter, or and country is kind of a subset, so that's kind of neat. Now, what do I send out when I get ready to send cards out to other people around the world? Well, I have a number of choices that I've got over the years when I collect postcards to send. Since I'm in the U.S. and I'm sending to people around the world, I've got a lot of postcards that just show various nature scenes. Some show scenes from around the world, but most of these are showing things national parks around the United States. So I like to show cards or send cards out to people around the world of my home country. So that can be kind of a neat thing to do. And I got these cards, this national park set, on Amazon. Sometimes I like to look for different cards here a little bit. And here's a set of cards from vintage travel posters from the United States. And so these vintage travel postcards are kind of neat to send to people from other countries. And these are, again, cards that were at one point talking a lot about railroads, or how to see various sites in the United States and things like that. So I like to send these out sometimes too. Sometimes a little bit unusual if you want something a little bit different. I found a bunch of cards here that have kind of an antique finish to them, and they have subjects like mushrooms or plants, butterflies on here, also things like other unusual little photos and things like this. So you can find all kinds of unusual cards to send out. Here's another image of just plants and things like this. So I like to find cards like that to send out. That's always kind of fun. Also, sometimes, when you read the profile pictures of somebody, somebody will say they like humorous cards and things like that. So I got some cards that have little, almost cartoonish images on them, and little phrases or a little paragraph, kind of did you know type of things. So it might talk about the bear, and it'll say a bear's sense of smell is 2,100 times better than a human's. And then they'll have something about foxes, and a little information about a fox, or a little information about a lion. Did you know that lions are the only cats who roar together? Even young cubs can roar, and an adult lion's roar can be heard up to 6 miles away. So that's kind of fun. Something about penguins, things like that. So a lot of times something like that can be kind of neat. I like the more easygoing graphics, and it's kind of a neat little learning message on there. It can be kind of fun. A lot of times in a profile picture, somebody will have a favorite animal that they like. So I have a stack of animal postcards ready to send out. So if somebody likes pandas, I've got some panda postcards. If somebody likes koala bears, I've got a koala bear postcard. Elephants seems to be a popular topic, so I've got postcards for elephants to send out as well, and things like that. So I keep a box of pretty well-stocked variety of different postcards that I use to send out, and then I'll read the profiles of the person on Postcrossing, and then I'll send that out. And of course, I've got a wide variety of stamps that I use for Postcrossing, the international stamps for the United States to international destinations. I've got some of those. I've got some other stamps that depict various things, these little coffee stamps as well from the U.S. and things like that. So I like to put a variety of stamps on the card, just so Sometimes I'll admit it's even going over the postage required to mail out the card, but it's kind of fun. So you keep a good stock of postcards and a good stock of stamps, and you can have a lot of fun with post-crossing. Sometimes people will send vintage cards out too, which is kind of neat. If I do get more unusual vintage cards, I will keep those in a separate storage area, and I'll put those in archive quality sleeves, which is kind of important for those vintage, more valuable cards. So kind of a quick look here at postcrossing.com, the website, and a little bit about the type of cards that I've personally received and the type of cards that I send out. So if you'd like to do something like this, I hope you give it a try. It's a lot of fun to do, and you can really get a wide variety of cards from around the world, which is fun to see what other people send out and what they like, and communicate with people around the world. It's kind of fun to do. So if you like Postcrossing, if you're going to try it and you're new, let me know in the comments. Also, if you're already a member of Postcrossing, let me know in the comments also as well. So as always, I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, happy collecting, and today, happy Postcrossing.